Hi there and welcome to Stamping in the Barnyard. So glad you're visiting me today. My name is Bethany Barnard and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I'm really excited to share this special fold card that we made recently at my September stamp camp featuring product from the new mini catalog that's live from September to about the 3rd of January, as well as this beautiful DSP designer series paper that is part of an online exclusive, and it's called Gathering Together DSP, and it's part of a larger suite that's just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see the gold in the leaves, and there's about 6 12 by 12 pages with various leaves and colors of the leaves and backgrounds. It's just beautiful, beautiful paper, and I fell in love with it right away. I loved the idea of using this card fold. I wanted it to sort of simulate a tree with a couple squirrels in a tree with all those fall leaves in the background. And I just love that cute saying, "Go nuts, it's your birthday." And that's part of a new bundle called Fluffy Squirrel with a coordinating punch. And it's got gifts for birthdays, Christmas. You can use this at the holidays too, and I'm sure I'll do that. We can cut out the squirrel that faces this direction, but this one has to be hand cut if you want him cut out, but it's worth it to me because I just think that they are so cute. So this fold is called Open Bay Window, and I learned this fold from Matasu, and there are a couple of demonstrators in England. My measurements are a little bit different, uses a little less paper. I just like it a little bit better, but I do thank them for putting me onto that fold. I have another card up that uses the Dove set. I can't recall the name right offhand, but it's also a new suite actually in the mini catalog for Christmas, and you can find another Open Bay Window card using that with the doves in it. So obviously you can see I really like this fold. So it folds flat, fits in a medium envelope, and off you go. Just love it. It's so cute. So it's a combination of the fold and the Fluffy Squirrel set and this beautiful online exclusive Gathering Together DSP that just gave me the idea for this card. So let's get started. And I just want to remind you that all of the measurements can be found underneath the video and in the description box. You might have to hit more to see it, but it is all there. Now this piece of Cajun Craze has already been cut. It measures 8.5 by 7, and then to score it, and I have already scored it, but I'm gonna just, for your benefit, I'm gonna show you very quickly how and where to score this. So on the 8.5 inch side here, you're gonna score it at 1 inch, and then again at 2 1/4. And at this point, you could just flip it and do it again at 1 inch and 2 1/4. Otherwise, you're looking at 6 1/4 and 7.5. I hope that makes sense. Okay, then we're gonna turn it 90 degrees, and you're gonna score at, at 3. Well, you're just gonna score it at 3/4 of an inch, only that first inch of it though. It's not gonna hurt if you do both, but I prefer it just scoring at 3/4 of an inch until you get to that first score mark. And then you're just gonna go around, flip it, and you're gonna do the same thing, 3/4 of an inch to the score line, and then you're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. 3/4 of an inch to the first score line, 3/4 of an inch, or 6 1/4 if you wanna do 3/4 and 6 1/4, or you can just flip it and be at 3/4. I'm hoping more information helps, not confuses, but basically at 3/4 of an inch away from the edge on all 4 corners, you're gonna score right up until that first intersecting score line. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and then once you have done that scoring, not a lot of scoring, but once you have done that, then you're gonna take your cutter, trimmer, And I love this because you can see these marks this way, because you can see your score lines clearly on here. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn it to where those score lines are. And you're going to start at 1 inch, which you can see here is 1 inch. And then also this you have these little markings on your trimmer that tell you you're at the 1 inch mark. You can also see it on this side, but you can also see your score mark here. So that's great. And then what you're going to do is you're going to literally cut. I've already cut this end, but I'm going to now cut this end. So you're going to go from that 1 inch all the way down to 1 inch away. So that would be 7.5 inches. And so that score line should line right up with where you have those score marks. And the reason why I don't make a score mark all the way down, I used to, and you can, but if you just are a little tiny bit off, you might still see the score line on this. It's really not a big deal, but that's just how I do it. I hope I'm not confusing you with that. But so now we have this 8.5 by 7, all scored and all cut as needed. So the first thing you want to do is take your DSP, and as I said, these measurements are underneath the video, and we're going to put this paper on either side of these panels like that. And you do have to do this part first. Well, you don't have to, but it's easiest if you do this part first. Get my trusty liquid glue, which gives me a little bit of time to move the DSP if it's not quite centered or where I want it. Just look at these beautiful colors. I love this paper. Well done at Stampin' Up. This really is probably my favorite, absolutely my favorite fall paper. It could be my favorite paper in the mini, well, this isn't in the mini catalog. It's part of the online exclusive. So it's my favorite DSP available right now. It's just so pretty. Just perfect for fall. I live in Florida, and so I don't get quite the beautiful, colorful leaves, but I am from New England, and I've seen many a beautiful fall day. So it's very reminiscent for me. And as I said, I just love the idea of the squirrels sitting in a fall tree, exchanging their acorns for a happy birthday celebration. Okay, so we have these panels in. Okay. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take these and you're gonna flip them. Can you see how that's gonna work? So you do that at the top and the bottom, and the only place you're adhering them is in this little rectangle in all four corners. So I'm going to put some adhesive glue, liquid glue being my favorite. Here and here. And don't worry about if you have some extra glue coming up the top here, because we're going to be putting some designer series paper over that as well. So now we'll do the other side. A few people have asked me, I am going to offer online camps in the future. If anybody's interested, they can get in touch with me and I'll put you on the mailing list. And what happens is you would get kits already prepped and then a link to the videos so that you can make the stamp camp projects in the future. And it also means that you may have to use a stamp set that we have coordinating with it. Well, I would give you that opportunity. Or you can use a different stamp set. But this one, to me, just so suited the squirrels. Okay, so there we've got that frame. So now we have, this is just, because these panels are 1 inch, now they're by 5.5, which is our usual card side, right? The 5.5. So these are just slightly under 5.5 and slightly under 1 inch. They're not 3/4 of an inch. They're more like 7/8 by 5 3/8. Because I really wanted just that tiniest bit of edge to show of the Cajun Craze underneath. But you can go ahead and remember, you can fold it flat this way, and then later on we can put it in like this. But while I'm adhering these, I'm going to fold it flat like that. So this is also paper from that Gathering Together DSP. And I just thought that the side that looked like tree bark was perfect to make this look like it was in a tree. I'm trying to get this video out quickly before I have to run some family errands today and take care of my mom. So I'm trying to get it done before she wakes up this morning. Just move that down a little bit because I do want a tiny bit of the Cajun Craze showing. All right. And then the other side. At times like this, I always wish I had some music playing in the background. But this is such a cute card. I love my squirrels. I know they're pests often. My mother had such trouble getting rid of her squirrels in her home before she moved in with me. And one year I made her a Christmas card where when you opened it, squirrels popped out of the Christmas tree. Oh dear. I guess that's funny. I'm not sure. All right, so I am not going to put a piece up here, but I do like the idea of a pieces down here, and these are again just under, because this is 3/4 of an inch, so this is about, so that would be 3/4 of an inch is equivalent to 6/8, so these are about 5/8 in thickness. And then this runs, let's see, this runs, 3 7/8 goes here. And then exactly 1 inch is what I've done on the two sides. And so we can put these in. Suddenly panicked that I might never have hit start on this video, but I had to check and I did, so that's good news. Otherwise you have to cut all the materials again and prep everything. If you haven't made a video, you don't realize all that can go wrong, I guess. And if it can go wrong, often it does, because I'm always in such a hurry to get these out. Okay, so I should have another one somewhere. Here it is. Whoops, I'm dropping acorns on the floor here. Oh, this one doesn't look like it's a full 3/4 of an inch. I wonder if I have. I will fix that later, unless there's a piece right here somewhere, which I am not seeing. So I will get this. This one doesn't measure right. I should have checked that beforehand. I will add that later. I'm sure I have a piece cut somewhere, but it's not right here. Okay, but hopefully the rest of the card will make sense. It's not too bad. It's just off on the side anyway for you to see. Okay, so the next thing that I recommend, and I used the, what's it called? Textured Notes dies to, oh, I had all of this right here. Okay, so I'm okay even if I can't find it right by me. It's gotta be right here. All right, sorry guys, I'm not gonna hold you up. Okay, so I did use the Textured Notes dies. I do have one, oh, here it is. Okay, so I used this size of the Textured Notes dies. Now on this card, I stamped it in the Cajun Craze, but I decided I wanted to try it in the Espresso, which is the color in the bark on the side. So I'm gonna take my stamp that says, "Go nuts, it's your birthday." Got lots of October birthdays too, so definitely get these used. And it fits real nicely in that smaller rectangular die with the Textured Notes. And then I like to really just put some adhesive on the top because I like this to hang down from this piece. So I'm gonna center it and then just have it hang down. There we go. Yep, so you only want to put some adhesive across the top, and then I bring it down and I center it there. There we go. Isn't that cute? Oh, love it. It's coming together. All right, so then we have the cute squirrels. And the way you do these, I want to show you how to get the most what? Use out of this, show you how to do this. Anyway, so you have 2 stamps for each squirrel. So you have the outline, and then you have the fill in. And what I like to do to line it up is I look at 3 points: the ears, the tail, and maybe his hand or his feet. But because they're photopolymer, you can see right through it. And once I feel like I have all of those lined up, voila, you've got your squirrel. And then we're gonna do the other one. And so it's the same thing. You're gonna do the outline first. And I'm using pecan pie for these squirrels. And then you're gonna fill him in. And you don't have to stamp off. However they've made this stamp, which I don't always understand, it fills in quite nicely. Again, I'm gonna take my 3 points, my tail, my ears, and my feet, and put them in. Now you can see it's down a little bit from the ears, but I'm fine with that. And I also wanna let you know, so the punch, you'll see this. Let me close this up for a second. So the punch comes in like this, and you can see it also will do the acorn, and you can set this up, this stamp, and there's lots of videos out there that show you how to set that up so you're actually punching the acorn and the squirrel at the same time. But I have another way that I do that as well, which I'll show you in a second. So this squirrel just punches out. That is really cute. And then this one, you would have to cut out. And I'm a firm believer in first getting it about down to the size that you would cut, rather than a big old piece. And then you always want to leave just a little bit of the paper showing around the side so that you don't try to go right along the edge. You leave a little bit of a margin, what would you call that, all the way around. Now I did cut one of these earlier, so I'm not going to take your time and cut this all out, for I have a little squirrel right here. And then we are going to, this one's a little darker. I like that. Maybe I will cut this one out. All right, you guys, bear with me while I do this, but then you can see as well how I do leave that edge all the way around. That's really important because it becomes much more forgiving if you aren't even all the way around. But if you go right along the edge of a image that you're trying to cut, it's gonna show your mistakes in a way that leaving a little edge doesn't. So that's we learned that early on, and boy have I learned that to be true. Okay, we're almost done here. Hopefully that didn't take too long. I'm also going to show you how you best cut out, and actually if you're following along you'll be doing this anyway, right? So this is giving you time to cut your squirrel out. There we go. I like his color better. All right, so after that we do want our acorns. Now you can try, and pretty successfully you can take your, there's a little acorn stamp, and I like to make it a little darker to begin with, so I'm going to stamp this in Espresso. And then you can pretty much see all around the acorn. See, that one's a little high, so you turn it over. And if that doesn't work, that's not usually how I do it, but I thought I would try it and see how it works. If I took more time, I think it would work. But if you take your piece of cardstock that you want to stamp it on, and you just cut a length, you can just cut a bunch of, or stamp first your acorns, and then you'll see that you can just put them in like this because the acorn's right at the edge. So then you can put them in the punch and punch out. And that way you're stamping first and then punching out. And one of the reasons why I do this is because when you punch the squirrel, even if you had lined it up, you are only, in this case, I wanted both of my squirrels to hold an acorn. So I'd only have gotten one that way. So this way, by doing a line of them, you can get several, and because you are then sticking it in the punch, you can really make sure they line up well. Now I'm going to color one of these, but I really do have my acorns already colored here, unless I've lost them. Oh yeah, I dropped them on the floor, didn't I? So here's one. And I want to show you how I use the colored pencils and my Stella to color them. And it looks like I might have to do another one anyway because or maybe I only did one. I don't know. Okay, so the colors I use for my acorn are the Espresso, Early Espresso, and believe it or not, the crushed curry. And I just kind of go around the outside, the cap a little bit darker. And then I do it around the base here too. And then with my crushed curry, I just put in a little bit of, kind of gives it, there is a Pecan watercolor pencil, so that probably would work as well, but I just like that crushed curry, and I try to leave a little bit of a, you can see lighter here as though the light's reflecting on it. So I'm just gonna, I love the way Stella moves these colored pencils around, the color of the colored pencils. So now I'm blending in some of that espresso with the curry, and you can see, I hope, that we've left just that little bit that looks like light is reflecting on it. So the next thing we want to do is have our little friends holding these acorns. So I'm going to put some glue on the one and then just put it in his hands. And then on this one, I am going to put glue on the back of his hand. And then I'm going to have him come over and pick that up. There we go. So now we got our two squirrels holding their acorns. And you can see this card's coming together very quickly. So now this bit, you're going to want some window sheets. So I have two. They are about 2 inches by 1/2 inch, and I've already put some double-sided tape on them. And ideally, you would do 2 strips, but I did this one quickly this morning and never put the second one on. I can do that now if my tape is handy. Yep, it is. So I'll do that right now. So I'm going to pull this strip up. And I'm just going to put another, because you really want to make sure this sticks well. So and I love that it's tear and tape. This double-sided tape is called tear and tape because you can just tear it right when you get to the end of where you want it to go. So now I'm going to pull up the backing of this. And believe it or not, you're going to take it, so from these corners, which is the ultimate front of your card, in about 1 inch, and you can just eyeball it. And I'm going to bring this all the way down, flush to the bottom here. Can you see that? And then while it's shut, I'm going to take this squirrel. You want to make sure that his tail does not go beyond the left border of the card because you want it to fit in the envelope. So here we go. And so we've got this squirrel on. And he's sticking to it, and it's going to fit in our envelope. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, about 1 inch away from that corner. Just make sure the main thing is that the tail does not sit past, or any part of the squirrel doesn't go past the edge of the card, the right-hand edge now. Again, sticky side up, all the way to the bottom. So you can see how those two, and then, you know, I suppose you could just use cardstock too for this. Okay, so this is where I should follow my own advice and make sure that the tail doesn't stick out past. There we go. So here we have our two friends celebrating a birthday. Go nuts, it's your birthday. And the card is done. Now what I don't have here, but maybe I do. Ooh, I could do that. Let's see. Because if you want to write more on a card like this, you have this whole back piece that you can, and let's see. I'll just take a piece of this scrap that I have here now. And I'm pretty sure this back piece is just 4 inches with all that folding. And it is, I'm right. So you want to cut this at 3 3/4 rather than our usual 4 inches. So 3 3/4. And then it should be at 5 1/4. So we'll double check that. Yeah. And then you can adhere this to the back, and then you can write a nice message, birthday message. And maybe you have a really nice stamp that you want to use. I noticed that piece, I do have a piece I considered putting on it. At least you're not as old as you'll be next year. That's from a retired set, but I really like that saying. But since I don't know who's getting this card yet, and I have a feeling it could be a grandchild, I didn't want to use that saying on the inside. So you just adhere this. I'll probably do a couple nuts here, maybe another squirrel or something on the back, and then have it say something too. But there's the card. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you make it. Let me know. Thank you. And here's how it stands up. Here's how it looks when it stands up. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.